could walk through the walls or become hot and hard as a diamond and that was vision. Like, he could also shoot dreams from his mind. Like, why? That was super strong. But what made him an adventurer was his heroic spirit. He was one robot with a heart. Vision was the Vision was the to receive Captain America's school bus and who can be covered with America. Time to get the other happy was Vision ready to jump into action. At the Avengers Tower, Falcon and Vision get went to get stuck. Scarlet Witch, we found her floating in the bowl of her own mystical energy. While he was floating on wall, what are you doing? Falcon asked her. There are some creatures in the world in words you can punch, Falcon. I'm sorry. Always said, I'm fighting the streets right now. Falcon didn't understand what Captain Scarlet Witch powers were, but he knew that she could make the impossible happen. He thought she might prove to be the most powerful Avenger of all. And so, armor, Thor, and Thor that was really saying something. It appears we needed, Scarlet Witch said, but get my brother, Quicksilver. Just as Scarlet Witch mentioned her brother, the communicator came to life with his voice. I'm on my way, Quicksilver shouted through the speaker. Quicksilver was the fastest man on the planet. He was able to run at super speed. Just then, he was up, running super fast train on his way to meet his fellow Avengers. Quicksilver also knew how talented he was. Quicksilver also knew how talented and powerful he was. One of the Avengers, of all the Avengers, he was the one who most enjoyed being a celebrity. Captain America's call also came through the training room where Hawkeye was practicing with his bow and arrows. Hawkeye was such a good eyesight that he could see his targets from far away. And he didn't. And he hit him. His bow had many different kinds of arrows. Ones that caught fire, ones that pulled things out, ones with nets, and many more. While Hawkeye had no powers, he had proven that he was able to keep up with his superpowered friends just fine. Not a superhero, he's just a hero. He doesn't have any superpowers. No, yeah, that is Hawkeye. Completing her training sessions, her training session in Hawkeye, Black Widow was jumping through a maze of laser beams. He is a very skilled gymnast. Looks like Cap needs our help, Hawkeye. Black Widow finished her flips through the maze and landed, ready for combat. Black Widow asked Hawkeye, do you think they're really taking us Avengers? Or do they still think of us as the new members? Hawkeye knew that Black Widow felt like she wasn't really part of the team, and sometimes he felt that way too. It just takes time, Widow. Hawkeye said, hoping to cheer her up a little. As they joined the others, she said her widow's bite got less on time. Those red suckers really did pack a wallop. So as the Avengers saw Hydra's spoons, Black Widow yelled out to them, surrender now, Hydra! This is your one and only warning. The Hydra agent is charged. The Hydra agent in charge laughed at them and said, you're not even the real Avengers. There's no way we would surrender to you. But just because they were newer to the team didn't mean they weren't as good as the original Avengers. They made sure Hydra wouldn't have a chance to underestimate them again. After wrapping up the Hydra agents, the new Avengers went to help the rest of the Avengers fight the wrecking crew. As it turned out, the original Avengers needed some extra power. Scarlet Witch called out the spell of protection that saved Captain America, Thor, and Hook. the new Avengers took down villains. Iron Man couldn't believe he had been wrong about his new teammate. With only the weaker left standing, Captain America and Quicksilver were able to take care of him together. There will be no more destruction today with her Captain America crying. Or even again. Ever again. Quicksilver added. Whoo, whoo! The best of two mighty heroes were more than enough to knock out the Winter. Whoo, whoo! While sitting in the city. My own family has a shot where I chuck it at chuck it at the head of the I don't know punch. While sitting in the city from both Hydra and the Wrecking Crew, the Avengers found that when they were together, they could get any food. There came a day when the original Avengers fought side by side with the new Avengers. And on that day, no longer mattered who was an original Avengers and who was a new recruit. From then on, they were all simply Avengers. The end. I just gonna something, okay?
Why did it go? Look what we're doing. Packing up the things. And look outside, very nice view. Nice view. Somebody's very nice. How is it? So that one was here and empty. Empty. Yeah. Because we're moving out of this home soon. Oh, actually tomorrow. Tomorrow we're leaving out this home. We're moving to the crowd of the city. So we'll say bye bye to this. Bye bye to this. Bye bye to that. And by the way, this is my breakfast for today. Yeah. All right. Okay, we're with about 5 minutes. Oh no, 5 minutes story strike. Star Wars. I choose this one. The journey begins. By the sequel. The droid's 3 CPU on R2D2 were having a bad day. The evil Empire, led by the Sith Lord Darth Sidious and his second-in-command, Darth Vader, had taken control of the galaxy. Imperial stormtroopers had attacked 3CPO and R2D2 ship, and the droids had only narrowly escaped Vader's clutches. Now they were stranded on the distant planet of Tatooine with no hope of rescue. I've got to rest before I fall apart, 3CPO complained. R2D2 turned down a dark, rocky path. Where do you think you're going? This way is much easier, C-3PO said, pointing in the opposite direction. But R2D2 just beeped back at his friend. He was on a mission and he couldn't be stopped. That mission? What mission? What are you talking about? 3CPO asked. R2 wouldn't answer, so the golden droid refused to follow him. Soon, the little blue and white astromech droid had left 3CPO far behind. But the rocky path was dangerous and R2D2 rolled right into a trap with an electrical blast. As Bold Java's scavenger froze R2D2, the droid couldn't move. I know. Java's carried R2D2 to the sand crawler. The little droid was surrounded by salvage junk and other strange droids. R2 was worried. Where were the Javas taking him? Luckily, R2D2 wouldn't have to find out alone the Jawas had captured 3CPO too. I say, the two friends stayed close together as the sand crawlers stopped and the Jawas lined up the droid outside. The droids were going to be sold. And an older man, Owen Lars, and his young nephew, Luke Skywalker, examined the droids. The man noticed the discrepancy beyond a small red droids. Wait, what happened? The two friends stayed close together as the Suncrawler stopped and the Jawas lined up the droids outside. The droids were going to be sold. An older man, Owen Lars, and his young nephew, Luke Skywalker, examined the droids. The man motioned the Tricipio on a small red droid. Luke, take these two over to the garbage. I want them cleaned up before dinner, he said. Luke led Tricipio away. R2D2 beeped in alarm. He didn't want to be separated from his friend again. Suddenly, the red droid started to spark. It was broken. Tricipio convinced Luke to choose R2D2 instead. Now, don't you forget this, Tricipio said to R2D2 as the droids followed Luke. Why I should stick my neck out of you is quite beyond my capacity. As he was cleaning the droids, Luke found something jammed in R2D2's data card input. He tugged and pulled, and suddenly a small hologram appeared. The hologram showed a young woman who looked very important. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You are my only hope, she said. Luke asked R2D2 where he had gotten the message, but R2 wouldn't answer. I'm sorry. Luke asked his aunt and uncle about Obi-Wan Kenobi at the dinner. The only Kenobi Luke knew was Ben Kenobi, an old man who had lived out in the desert near Luke's family for as long as Luke could remember. But Luke's uncle told him to ignore the message. He needed Luke to help on the farm, not to be thinking about strange messages on planets and people far away. Luke was frustrated. He walked outside and watched the sun set beyond the desert. He had hoped that Artedida's message would be the start of an exciting adventure that would take him away from the boring life he had always known. But it looked like he would be stuck on the tomb forever. Aim! Sixtaila. Luke was destined for adventure after all. Artedito had escaped. I told him not to go, but he kept babbling on about his mission. And